All right, let's dive into a really fascinating paradox, one that sits at the very heart of doing great work. It's this. To achieve true mastery, you actually have to surrender first. But wait, how can you let go and strive relentlessly at the same time? It sounds impossible, right? Well, let's figure it out. So just picture a young Bob Dylan or John Lennon. When interviewers would ask them all these personal questions, they would just brush them off. And it wasn't just them being difficult. They were onto something huge. They knew that the genius part, the part that wrote those incredible songs, wasn't their everyday personality. The writer Stephen Pressfield puts it perfectly. He says their real job was to quiet that small I, so the big I, that real source of creativity, could finally come through. So what does that really mean for us? Okay, so what is this small I? Well, it's the ego. It's that voice in your head that never, ever shuts up. You know the one. It's our inner narrator, and it's just jam-packed with anxieties and desires and this endless need to be noticed and told it's doing a good job. We go through most of our lives thinking that voice is us. But what if it isn't? What if it's actually the one thing standing in our way? But here's where the ego gets really, really sneaky. Its cleverest trick isn't making you arrogant. Oh no. It's busyness. It's making you invent a million little things to do, things that feel productive, but are really just a way to hide. They're a form of resistance, a way to put off doing the real, scary, important work you know you're supposed to be doing. You know, this isn't some new age problem. People have been wrestling with this for centuries. And thinkers from all these different traditions, we're talking Stoics, saints, artists, they all pointed to the exact same solution, the path of surrender. It's all about quieting that inner chatter to unlock a whole new level of performance and peace. And what's so cool is just how universal this idea is. You've got the Stoics, right? They taught that your ego is just the lens you see the world through, and you can change that lens. Then you have spiritual traditions that see prayer not as, asking for stuff, but as a way to dissolve the self. And then you have practical philosophers who knew that if you can't rule your own mind, you can't rule anything. It's like they all took different roads but arrived at the exact same destination. Okay, but here's where things get complicated. If the goal is to surrender and quiet the self, then what about hard work? What about discipline? What about that ferocious, relentless energy that it takes to become a master at, well, anything? And here it is, the conflict laid bare. On one side, we're told, quiet the ego, be unaffected, let go of the outcome. And on the other side, be relentless, struggle, cultivate ferocious discipline. I mean, how can both of those things possibly be true at the same time? And look, the case for pure effort is pretty darn strong. According to the researcher David Schwartz, stickability, just that raw ability to not quit, is 95% of ability. 95%. Just hanging in there is almost the whole game. Now that doesn't sound a whole lot like surrender, does it? So, which is it? What's the right path? Do we follow the sage and just let go and find peace? Or do we follow the master and just push forward with all our might? Well, the answer, as it turns out, is not to choose one or the other. The way to solve this paradox is to change what you choose to care about. And this is where everything starts to click. Mother Teresa really gave us the key here. She said, intense love does not measure, it just gives. And that points to a totally different kind of effort, doesn't it? It's an effort that isn't about keeping score or getting credit or worrying about the outcome. It's an effort that's born from a deep, intense love for the work itself. This is the absolute core difference. See, the ego cares about credit. It cares about recognition. It cares about the outcome. It's always asking, what's in it for me? But the master cares about the process, about the work itself, about the simple act of being fully committed. The effort might look identical from the outside, but the why behind it changes absolutely everything. I love this metaphor from the world of golf. Imagine your ball is stuck in a really bad spot, like in a divot in the grass. The ego's first instinct is to play it safe. It starts whispering in your ear, ooh, be careful, don't mess this up even more, protect yourself. But a master golf instructor, a guy named Dan Grieve, he gives the exact opposite advice. His advice? Make the divot bigger. Wow, commit fully to the shot, swing right down into the difficulty. That's the master's mindset. Playing it safe, these little half measures, that's the ego's game. Full 100% commitment, even when it's tough, that's the only path to excellence. James Dean captured this whole idea perfectly. Dream as if you'll live forever. That's the relentless, long-term, hardworking pursuit of mastery. And live as if you'll die today. That's the complete, no-holds-barred commitment to this moment, to the work right in front of your face. You see? You need both.
Okay, so this is a really powerful idea, but let's be honest, it's a little abstract. How do we actually use this? How do we turn this insight into a daily practice? Well, there's actually a pretty simple way to start. This simple little mantra, it is the perfect antidote to the ego's number one excuse, which is always, I'm not ready yet, right? The ego is always waiting for more time, more money, the perfect conditions. This mantra just cuts right through all of that nonsense. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. That's it.
And the result of practicing this? Well, the Dalai Lama tells us that a calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence. Now, this isn't the ego's loud, fragile confidence that's always looking over its shoulder for approval. No, this is the quiet, deep, unshakable confidence of a person who has simply stopped fighting with themselves and has started doing the work.
So ultimately, it all comes down to a choice you have to make every single day. Are you going to let that anxious inner narrator, that small I, run the show with all its fears and its bottomless need for credit? Or are you going to get out of your own way, commit fully, and simply do the work? The choice is always yours.